Hello everybody, thank you for stopping into today's development live stream. Hope everyone is having a good day. Let me get this stuff set up real quick. Turn off that, turn this on. How's it going, everybody? There we go, there we go, got a good angle. Turn on the goal text. So, as it says right there, today is pretty simple. I'm going to be working on the boss stage for World 4, so we're going to go over what that's like, both the boss itself and some of the new enemies alongside it. It's a pretty different kind of stage, and the main gimmick could either be really annoying or really fun. We'll figure it out with testing, change some things if we need to. We'll see how it shakes out. But I'm excited to give it a try. So I will be jumping in on that in just a moment. Alright, let me just get the playlist on. Make sure it's not too loud either. There we go. Starting with some Escatos, which is a really cool shoot-'em-up game. Turn this to new editor window. There we go. Okay, anyways, how's everybody doing? We got Crystal Sword, Oro, Something Clever, Cheesy Pizza with a Q, Ethan Levy. Yeah, how's everybody doing? Good to see you again, Ethan. Feels like it's been a hot minute. Hopefully you can actually stick around, because I feel like even all the times when you can actually catch a stream, you end up having to leave. Seeing the screen's doing the thing that likes to go black, which is annoying. So we'll turn on some backups to hopefully make sure that doesn't happen. Alright, so go over to Demise 3, which is the stage. We'll start down here. And the main goal for today is going to be working on the enemy layout, because I've already got the general structure down, but I want to figure out the enemies that are going to go in it and work on the actual moment-to-moment stuff and get that in a spot that feels good. The free time now, I love vacation. Pog. Okay, so you notice this meter pops up, and that is summoned by this guy, who's the boss of the stage, named Uncle Time. So when the meter gets all the way filled, do that little animation, and then now we're in fast time, and then it will drain back down to the bottom, and it'll switch back to slow time. So the whole gimmick of this stage is going to be switching between these two different speeds, and that'll change some other things around it, so it should be a fun gimmick. So we've got a bunch of different little sections here. This is a pretty thin, narrow bit we can put some enemies on. Should be a pretty interesting test, just because it's pretty different from a lot of other stuff we've done before, but it fits well with the escalation of this being the fourth world. And then we wrap up and around here, up onto this section, and then up into here, and then we're inside of this clock tower. Then we head down through, this is the wrong texture, I just realized, and then head down through here, and we fight Uncle Time. Right now, he doesn't actually have any attacks. All he does is do the time switching. But I'm thinking about giving him some sort of actual offense. But for now, he's just a pretty easy, simple one-shot kill, who just is more so somebody who has an influence on the rest of the stage rather than being an actual, like, boss fight himself. He's more of like a presence, if that makes sense. Yo, new textures. Yeah, we got a lot of them. Mostly these. Some of these are pretty familiar. Before I forget, the inside texture is supposed to be this lighter red instead of this dimmer red. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that to Elven Angle. There we go, and set you to Clock Exterior. There we are. Okay, so let's start out in the introduction section here. So I'm thinking I'll have some sort of like a sign on this wall that'll be explaining what the new enemy does. Not this guy, because this should be pretty self-explanatory, I imagine. That's why we got the window here, so that way the player can actually see him. But in here is where we're going to have an introduction to a proper new enemy, who is an actual enemy. And it's this guy, Glourglass, who... oh, I need to fix that. But I showed him off last time, and he shouldn't be attacking me right now. But what should happen is, yeah, when we go into fast mode, he flips over from being non-hostile into being directly hostile, and he's got this like machine gun style attack. Just uses the Gunther pellets for now. But then whenever you go into slow time, then he goes back to being non-hostile. So it'll be an interesting challenge to try to figure out how to make good use of him by putting him into spots where the player will likely be in fast time. And he's pretty difficult to dodge around just because of how fast the bullets go, and especially because you fight him in fast time. but then he switches back to being not a threat, and then he dies. And he's still a little visually buggy. I need to sort that out. There's certainly still some visual refinement that needs to be done there, but the general idea is there, and I think it's pretty interesting. So first thing we're gonna do with this guy is make sure that he doesn't actually start attacking us when he shouldn't be. Because should be... Hold on, just test something. Yeah, okay, there we go. Now he starts out in the state he's supposed to be. So he doesn't attack us. He's all neutral, and then bam. Now he's on the attack. Although he didn't do the flip animation because he immediately started attacking. So that's something we're gonna have to fix. I think actually we could probably do it pretty easily. I've got this event. Yeah, it's called Flip to Unusual. So if we want to make this work, we could get rid of this, and then there. So now what that should... Whoop. Why did it... That was weird. I don't know why it spawned me out in the death plane. But yeah, what we should see now is that way he'll do the rotation animation and then attack, which should be good to give players a bit of a brief bit of breathing room. Yeah, there we go. That looks much better. And it's kind of annoying me. So we got this thing right here, and I'm just gonna tuck this like right there. And this system needs a bit of a revamp. But in case you haven't seen much of it, this is the X-ray system. There's some weird Unreal jank where like you can see enemies fully silhouetted if they're like using a certain material, if you can see them directly, but it doesn't work on 2D sprites through walls, which is what the point of this is to see them through walls. So I have to use this like static mesh behind them. I don't know. It's kind of janky. I want to find a better solution for the X-ray vision than that, but whatever. Yo, just recently found the channel, love your content. Also, game dev YouTuber, thinking about starting a big project. How do you balance working on the game while also making videos? That's a good question, Cody. That's hard. I'm thinking about making like a video talking about the whole process of how it was running the channel and how it was making the game at the same time. Because I started at 0, like 20 subscribers back in June or May. So I get what it's like being a lot smaller. But I'd say when you have the time, try to do both. The game should be first and foremost. Kind of depends on if you want to be a game dev YouTuber or a game dev, because those are kind of two different things. Like if you want to do be more of a YouTuber or be more of a developer. But I'd say generally focus more on whichever one you want to do most. And I think it's probably a more interesting video if you make more of a game first, even if some things aren't necessarily like the best video content. Like polishing game mechanics and fixing bugs isn't really interesting for like a video, but it's better for the game, I guess. I don't know. That's a long, very long subject. I had an idea for an animation thing. Is this silly metal box on Samantha's arm detachable? Yeah, it's a gauntlet. It's not like a glove. If you want to get an idea of how it works, just look up Shin Megami Tensei 1 Protagonist, because that is what the character is a reference to. Or just SMT if you don't want to type in all of that. Okay, so we go in here. I might want to extend some of this out a little bit, or just have a couple of these guys in here, so that way the player is more likely to see the transformation happen. But that might also just be something I'll figure out in playtesting. Because for now, I think we can give the player a pretty simple introduction to this guy by having him be fairly far away. Though it does kind of bring the downside of just being able to do that right away. Oh. Actually, so that way we don't just keep getting teleported over there over and over. Let's go ahead and set this to demise 3. So that way it loads us into the correct level. And then let's get the player start, which I'm assuming is, yeah, just sitting right on the death plane, which is why it keeps spawning us there. If we instead drag that to the room it should be in, set your rotation to 0. Get you down onto the ground. then reset. There we go. Yeah, so you move through here, you see this guy, and then we have our first encounter, which generally I imagine a player should probably be, should be able to see this when it happens. If not, we'll probably put another one up here, or up here, just so that way we feel more confident that the player will be able to see this transformation happen. But if not, I'll probably even then put like a sign right here that's like, hey, watch out for Glourglass, or watch out for this guy. When time is fast, he's very dangerous, or something. Things like that, I think, can just, they're subtle, but they can help quite a bit. Speaking of helping quite a bit, I need to draw some props already for this place. These, it's looking quite barren. Just need to get some, like, portraits on the walls, or some, I kind of do paintings everywhere. Maybe I should think of some other ideas, but I don't really know what you'd use to decorate a clock tower than, like, gears. I guess you just do a shit ton of gears. Okay. So then we're gonna have a combat encounter up here, and we've got a couple of cool ideas we could do. And this is our fourth world, so we don't need to be too lax on the player. We can I think comfortably be willing to amp up the challenge here. One idea I have that I think could be fun is if we put a Samantha right here, yeah, then she'll just like drop the Dibblies down on top of you, which I think that's a pretty fun concept. You could snipe her like that from a distance before she gets a chance to summon too many of them. Still need to draw the attack sprite for Dibley. A lot of little things, because I'm trying to get this build of the game with all of World 4 done by this Friday is the plan, and I think that's doable. But there's just a lot of little things that need to be done. So we'll see if I can pull that off, especially as I'm moving back into my apartment on Thursday, because the next semester of school, my final semester of college, actually is starting pretty soon, which is weird. Anyways, I think Samantha there is pretty fun. I also think that a Doble would work well up here. Let's pull this back to make room for him. Because I found generally, he's kind of like a cuboid where he works best in these like long straightaway sections, just because it makes it more interesting. It gives you more of a reason to actually engage with the way his attacks work. With the you know, sliding across the ground thing. So I had a bigger channel than you at one point. Attack, thanks for the response, that helps. Oh, no problem. I could probably give a more helpful answer, but I'd have to think on that. Put some gears on the path to the end, like interconnected gears all the way to the end. So I do have gears. These guys. Right here. Oh, that's just the mesh. No, I made them blue. Yeah, I made them blue because the blue fits the new color palette. Yeah, I got these guys. You can change the rotation speed, the rotation direction, and stuff. I just want to be careful with them because I'm worried if I put down too many of them, it could start to like negatively impact performance. You've got all these things that are constantly updating and animating. Also, his shockwave is still kind of busted. I need to fix that. But yeah, the gear is kind of my main decoration. Kind of adds a lot of momentum and movement. But I'll have to do some tests to see like how many of them I can add before performance starts to get impacted. Maybe it's not going to be too much, because it is just a static mesh that's spinning. It's not a very high poly mesh either, obviously. It's a very, very simplistic mesh. So maybe it won't even be a big deal. Missing streams makes me feel crazy. What the hell is a Dibley? I guess I haven't made a video on any of the new stuff yet, so... As a recap, this is Samantha. She summons these guys named Dibley. They're basic melee enemies who die in one hit. Probably going to be a little bit more complicated. And then this is Doble, who he sends out these shockwaves you got to jump over. Pretty simple batch of bad guys, all in all. But let's try to fix up Doble real quick, because I liked using Shockwave, or Double projectile. So I wanted to use this sort of texture instead of just using a flat box. But I think a box would probably be better for like communication purposes, because this is pretty easy to get lost or like see it in only one direction, and then it gets kind of difficult to tell where exactly it is in three-dimensional space. Also, it's a little misaligned here. So probably gonna make some adjustments to this so that way it's maybe find ways to keep it feeling like it's that shockwavy thing, but also make it feel a little bit more dimensional. Maybe even just like making a simple like curved mesh and then stacking a couple of those to make it 3D but still have that shockwavy shape. That might be the way to go on that. But for now, we'll just add a cube in. Just to give it a bit of an actual sense of dimension. And then we'll just slap the cuboid projectile material on that, so you can see through it. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, that's not quite supposed to happen. So the idea with this guy's attack is... Okay, the idea with this guy's attack is pretty simple. Okay, I am playing like ass. I should not be trying to explain things and play the game at the same time. That does not work. Okay. Kill you. Here we go. Yeah, so the idea with this guy's attack is that it would slowly spread out, get larger and wider. Clearly the sprite doesn't really work. And it's kind of cool. It might be a little big, obviously. But I think the way it works is actually pretty fun to fight against. So actually, I don't really know if this does need much of a revision, because this is actually pretty... Yeah, no, this works out pretty well, actually. Yeah, the problem is just that the sprite doesn't scale with it. But it's pretty easy to jump over, actually. I think it just needs a smoother transition animation for when it goes away, instead of just blinking out of existence. Maybe like some particles that it would spawn, like a little poof of smoke to indicate that it's gone away. But no, that actually works pretty well. I think that's pretty fun. Okay, let's use the new guy here. Let's put a hourglass all the way back there. And I do think these arenas are probably going to need some props and maybe some elevation differences, because as of now they are pretty flat, pretty stagnant. I like the multi-layered approach here, but maybe having some extra slopes leading between different sections, or elevated parts, or using the gears a bit more could make this more interesting. Some doubles can be locked in place, only causing shockwaves in one direction. It's not a bad idea, but I think it's more interesting if they are more versatile, you know? And generally, as a rule of thumb, I prefer to not really adjust how enemies work on a per enemy basis. I prefer if they have one set of functions that can work in any situation I put them in, because I feel like that just leads to a more consistent feeling, where if you do a bunch of alterations where you can change each one on an individual basis, it can kind of make things feel overall less consistent. If that makes sense. Boom. Might also have a few two enemies that are just kind of like one-shot in this world. Because there's quite a few that you just kind of shoot and they die. Which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing for some of them. Like Samantha and Dibley would not be very fun if you had to like multi-hit them, but I think this guy would probably benefit from having a bit more health, now that I think about it. Okay, so we've got a pretty basic setup here. And let's make it a little less basic. So this section, let's put a Jimmy right there in the back. Keep you on your toes. I'm thinking about maybe putting a Brain Buster somewhere on here, like far back to give you a bit of a neater rush. But I think he would be a little over-centralizing to this combat section, too. Yeah, you can't hardly really even make out that he's there. So I'd probably want to block off some of this section. It's a little annoying, you can't really see this. So I think I'll probably also add some sort of an indicator to this section. It's 200. Something like this. And we can turn that into something more concrete than just being a couple of random-ass blocks sitting in the middle of nowhere. But something like that, yeah, just makes it feel a lot more intuitive to go there. Yeah. For now, I think we'll put a wall up here, just to not let the Brain Buster be a little too over-centralizing on this section. Well, then you can't see this slope, which is a different problem. I mean, you got this leading down, so maybe I could put it at more of an angle to indicate that there's a slope down here. Oh, I didn't even think about this. Yeah, now you've got 2 meters at the same time. Okay, you know what? No brain buster for this level. That's too much. That's too much visual noise. Yeah, let's maybe nix that actually. Okay. What else do we want to do up here? Let's see. So this section's pretty large and flat, so generally a place where a Steve would do well. We could put a... Let's see. Just trying to think about what would work well. Let's put a Keyblade right here. I think that would be interesting. That's thinking a little further ahead. Let's do a bouncer right here as a bit of a stalling tactic to make it slightly harder to reach Samantha there. And let's just give this a try, see how this feels. Okay. I think this area is a little bit too wide open. It does kind of prevent some of the enemies from actually being effective because of how big it is. So might give that a little bit of rework. Might also extend this section a little further out, so it goes out more and then back in a little bit more dramatically, just to give it a bit more of a breathing room. Because as is, I think this would probably be a little too quick. It doesn't really utilize this idea of having these precarious balancing beams all too well. I will say the time switching mechanic, I was worried it could be kind of obnoxious potentially, but no, it works out pretty well. I feel like it's pretty well telegraphed, and the change of speed isn't so fast that it's too difficult to deal with. It sort of becomes a more subtle, interesting little change up that more drastically affects the Glower Glasses than it does impact the player's speed. And just makes the combat a bit more difficult without feeling like you're going way too fast out of control. So I think that actually works pretty well. Maybe the hourglass could explode upon death, forcing you to jump like Steve's shrapnel. That could be interesting. Keyblade and Double would pair together nicely. You know, I haven't really tried much of that combo, having them at the same time. Yeah, let's give that a shot. Let's see how this works. Whoa. Oh yeah, okay. You know what? Good call. That was a good call, Eliza Lark. That was pretty fun actually. Trying to weave in between. That was a good pick. Whoops. Dang, I just can't. Okay, now you can get enough height with a down boost. Okay. So, what do we want to do here? What do we want to do? Make this section a little bit more interesting than it currently is. So I think the Samantha up there works, the Doble there is pretty fun, the Bouncer does his job pretty well, too. The Glower Glass definitely depends on when you get here, if he'd be effective or not. And then Jimmy and Steve are kind of not doing much of anything, to be honest. Yeah. This bit works, but I think that this section here is what's kind of letting it down. Maybe if we put a Gunther hanging out here on this edge. Can you not see me? No, you can't. Okay. Okay, yeah, that adds a pretty satisfying extra wrinkle there. Okay, and then we'll have something here to attack the player once they actually make it up to this section, because these guys are all pretty good at keeping the offense up once you're heading along this section. And then if we put like maybe a Keyblade right here, no, actually that could work, because I don't really want to add too many more enemies to this bit. I think it could be pretty overwhelming at a certain point. Right there, maybe that Keyblade doesn't really work, because it can kind of attack you when he's just barely in sight. So I could see that being kind of annoying to deal with. We could try a bat and a ball right here. Yeah, if we keep the bat there, then shouldn't have too many issues. Ooh, okay, that's... So she summoned one after she died, so that's something we're definitely gonna have to fix. I could have this section be not that heavily... Not have that many enemies up here, so that way you sort of get the reward of, like, clearing them out from this angle first, and then you could clear up here, and then jump down straight here without having to go down the ramp. That might be satisfying. Let's try Slapmo right there, though. See how that feels. Yeah, okay, so she can summon them after death. Definitely gonna have to fix that. Oop, there you. Okay, so the Slap Mode does just kind of chase you down, but I think that does actually work pretty well. Okay. I like this bit, but it's a little small overall. Let's just try something very simple and add an extension out like this. Put Sheila next to Samantha. Yeah, let's give that a try. Actually, that could work pretty well. Let's see how that works. I hadn't even thought about using a Sheila and Samantha together. That is a truly devious combo. Okay, so you could do that to disable the shield, which is kind of an interesting dynamic, actually. That I feel like I haven't really used that anywhere else. Holy hell, there's so many enemies! Why did you... That was weird, he just jumped like twice. Let's try adjusting Sheila's position a little bit. Maybe pulling her further back so that way that doesn't happen. Actually, I don't know if that's even worth trying. It's like, that's kind of cool. You have to, like, get in real close to take it out. Like, you can't... You have to... I guess it more so forces an approach rather than just being able to pick her off with a sniper shot. Yeah, we'll do some trial and error. Okay. Yeah, okay. I think that is pretty cool. Now this section I'm gonna get rid of. And we'll just extend this section out a bit further, I think. Like maybe instead of this, it's more like a this, you know? Like a this. Make this kind of cool zigzaggy shape. Alright, let's give that a try. Maybe still add some extra paths or something, so it's not quite as one note. Or maybe quite as linear, give you some more options as to how you want to go through it. Yeah, I think that would probably be beneficial. I also think that this is a little steep, so let's make it a bit smaller so that we still get the elevation differences, but it doesn't kind of block off your vision the way it does right now. Yeah. Now we got some path variety here. Maybe even add a little section out here with a small platform we could have another enemy or combat section on. Here's an idea, actually. Could it re-add something right here? Like some sort of a central platform. We could put an enemy or two there. Should be able to just jump straight to it. Yeah, pretty easily could jump to and from. It also gives us a bit of a return option. Though it's a little low to the ground, so maybe if we extend this out. Whoops, slammed myself directly into the floor. Yeah. It's a bit of a tight jump, but you can make it. Let's just make that a bit of a slope to make it a little more consistent. Yeah, that just feels better. Cool. I'm so sorry I have to go. No! Alright, well, it was nice having you here, Ethan. Any more ideas for voltaic enemies? I certainly do have more ideas for voltaics. And I think it's a fun concept for sure. But it, I don't know, I guess it didn't really end up being something that was quite as... I'm trying to think how I want to word it, because I think voltaics are a fun concept, but I think they, in their current state and the way that they're designed, I think they're kind of more interesting as a more of a one-off gimmick that's used for specifically Solemn Slalom, rather than being something as over-centralizing or as widespread as I originally had planned. Maybe if they were designed in a bit of a different way. But the way they're set up right now with the ghosts and being tied to switching into the ghost mode and the specific enemies that they possess, they kind of work better in their more limited context. But I think maybe if I were wanting to do voltaics in a more broad sense, I think that, like in a way that I would use them in more levels, I'd probably do it kind of like the whatever they're called in Ultra Kill, like Radiant or something. Where if you're playing on higher difficulties, you'll just be encountering harder versions of certain enemies to deal with, and that's probably something I would be more interested in doing if I wanted to explore the concept further. But for now, I think with the limited quantity we have right now, the current method of execution I think is pretty fun, and maybe not something I really want to mess around with too much. But never say never. Maybe I'll screw around with the concept a little bit more, but you never know. Okay, so let's do a bit of reworking, or working rather. What enemies we want to put here? So I do try to use at least one of every enemy in stages. Say like maybe a Steve here. Actually, let's put the Jimmy right here in the middle. But yeah, I generally try to use as big of a variety of enemies as I can, just because that does tend to create a better sense of variety, you know, instead of just using the same dudes over and over. Yeah, okay. So this section's not great. A lot of the enemies don't really have a ton of synergy here. So I think we want to redo this slightly. Let's try maybe a double right here and a bouncer right here. Could be interesting. The Jimmy in the middle is honestly not really doing anything, so maybe we'll keep that platform empty as just a bit of a safe spot, you know? Maybe move the bouncer a little bit too, so that way he can't see you until you get up here. I don't think the Steve is really doing a ton either. First, let's try pulling you back. See what that does for us. Probably will still see us here. Yeah. Oh. That was annoying. Okay. Dang it, man. Why did my mic turn itself off? That's stupid. Alright, well, we're back. My bad. I don't know why it just like reset all my settings to when I like as if the stream had just started, which is weird. Anyways, none of anything I just said got through at all, or if anything I just said made any sense because you didn't hear it. But that, I guess that explains why the stream numbers kept dropping. I was just like, man, I feel like this is I don't know why we're suddenly at 3 viewers. They haven't done anything. That makes all more sense. Anyways, we got this down for aesthetics, using the glare glass a few extra spots. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so we're falling down here. This would be probably a decent time for an ambush. So who's gonna do good at an ambush? Probably not Steve, because we're approaching from the sky. We could try a Sheila Jimmy combo in the corner. And then block the door off with a Doble. Then put a Dibbly. Okay, so his projectiles can't really reach super far, so he's not that threatening in that context. We'll leave it for now. Just trying to get a rough draft in, basically. Let's get a glower glass down here, and then this room. I think I've got kind of a funny idea. We put a Samantha standing right here up on the top of the doorway. Jam myself into a wall. Yeah, okay, it's good. You can shoot her with a pretty basic weapon, so shouldn't be too intrusive or obtrusive. And then we can try. I think a Steve would actually work pretty well here. Oh, jam myself on a wall again. I don't know why I uppercut it there. That was entirely unnecessary. You're not supposed to have collision. I'll have to fix that. And then we get into here. We will kill this guy probably. We'll just bop him. And then thinking we'll probably do something like this. Put the exit right here. And then do a little bit of this. A little bit of that, you know? Actually, let's extend that a little bit further. Yeah. Oh, I was editing the wrong thing. Whoops. Okay, there we go. And then we'll grab the end level object, put it down right here. So we will run into this room, see good old Uncle Time, who will probably move a little bit closer. And then get through here, kill him, and we're good to go. That's the end of the stage. Alright, let's give the whole thing a run through, see how we're feeling. See how it's feeling, see if we're liking it, if we're not liking it. Okay, so odds are good you'll have to fight at least one of those guys, at least on your first run through, but if you're fast enough, you can kill both of them before they transform. Which I think is good. Oh, one of those is a real slapmon, one of those is a glitched Dibley. That's funny. Oh. You know what? You know what? You know what? Bouncer, you're fired. Okay, hit him. No! No! I'm getting juggled. There's a lot of stuff getting flung at you in this section. Oh, you can see a Sheila shield poking through the wall. Probably adjust her positioning slightly. Whoa, why did he... Okay, something's up with him. Specifically that version, that one right there. Because he should just, like, whenever he lands, he spawns projectile, so something's just forcing him to, like, land over and over. Which is weird. Okay, so Gunther's shot there got blocked because it was not really in a good angle, so I'll have to reposition him. Maybe I'll slightly reduce how fast the fast mode is. It is a little bit tricksy, maybe a little more so than I intended. Yeah, I don't know if that's really great placement for him because he's kind of annoying to deal with at high speed. Oh, okay, Mr. Dibley. Okay, that was okay. I think there's some sections that work pretty well, but there's other parts that feel a bit too spammy. Like, I don't really think this Slapmo here really adds much. I think that you'll probably need to be pulled back slightly to be more helpful. You need to be brought further forwards and up into this section so that you can actually shoot me. Yeah, and then the glider glasses, they're only sometimes actually useful. And I feel like the way that I went about that, they didn't really end up playing much of a factor because they weren't in aggro mode most of the time. So they might need some rebalancing. Oh, yeah, just those two guys. Something I have thought about with some of these stages is that it's kind of impossible or very difficult for some stages to backtrack through them. So I'm thinking maybe adding an option to, like, let you just teleport to the beginning of a stage without doing a full, like, clean reset might be nice. Kind of a bit of a band-aid solution, but maybe, like, having something where if you interact with a portal and you don't have all the enemies killed, it'll be like, hey, would you like to go back to the start of the stage to search for enemies again? Something like that. Not an amazing solution, but it is better than literally nothing. Okay, Glider Glass is about to start firing. Shit. And I just missed those two. Okay. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not a bad stage. It needs a little something extra, though. I'm not entirely sure what that is. Maybe that'll be fixed when I do some more stuff. Maybe the ambushes from the Digglies. A level that is literally just 200 Slapmos. See, we've only got the best ideas today. Okay, but I'm gonna follow my own philosophy, my own advice, and we're gonna come back to this probably at a later time, do some extra revision. Although I don't know if you guys will see that because I'm probably not streaming next week because the next school semester is starting up, so I'm probably gonna be getting adapted back to being at collage. So I think instead we're gonna pivot over and we're gonna work on the arena stage for a bit. Start working on the layout of that. So let's go ahead and update this to World 4 Arena stage. There we go. And then we'll try to get that laid out as well. So let's copy over Demise Test, just because it's got all the assets and stuff already in place. And we'll name this Demise Arena. There we go. And we'll just delete the stuff that's already in here, like the enemies and whatnot. So all we really care about is having the skybox and everything else that's associated with the zone. So I'm thinking probably for this one we'll do the whole thing in fast time. That feels like a pretty suitable, like, fitting gimmick for this. Edit the level blueprint momentarily. So we'll make this the caps lock. Minus Arena. Okay, start getting this place laid out. Okay, so we'll start out with the room where player will start out in. Make it decently large just so they have some breathing room. And then scale it up. Oh, whoops. Let's get rid of these guys. There. Okay. So now what we do is carve out this section. We got an interior to work with. There we go. Alright, and then make a door. Oops. There we are. I'm thinking this is where we'll enter the speed up zone, and then round a corner. Which this is pretty similar to another stage I've already done. Maybe we'll just make it. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine enough intro, I guess. Don't need to overthink it too hard. Like that. So we go here, enter the speed up, and then round out into the main room, which I'm thinking, probably gonna want this to be pretty large. Probably mostly vertical as well to take advantage of that. I don't think any of the arena stages are that, like, tall. They're usually pretty much, like, wide. So let's try something a little different and make it a bit more vertical. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's plenty of room to work with. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we'll just make this thing pretty tall. Don't need to make it too big, because, again, in case you're unfamiliar, the arena stages are small, self-contained, one-off, challenging combat encounters. So I don't want to go too far with it, making it too big. Because generally the focus is on that short one-off burst of difficulty. Okay, so here's where we're going to start thinking about the actual challenges that this room will have. I think that we could try to lean into something similar to like a big windmill sort of thing, where it's very, well, I guess that's just kind of the windmillionaire idea, where you have this sort of open like space, and maybe we could try to have some interesting sections with like gears, and it's like launchers and trampolines and stuff, so you zoom around on these different levels, clearing out the different enemies. Hey, Enceladus, how's it hanging? Stack 10,000 Gunthers on top of each other, and have a Sheila. Gunther minigun. I should draw him, because I've had an idea. This isn't an enemy that would show up in the game, because it wouldn't really fit anywhere, but I had the idea for a machine Gunther, so it would just be a machine gun, but it's like a cyborg Gunther, and I want to draw him. Maybe a section like in the big one where you chain onto Jebs through cogs. I do have that in the first stage of the world, so I think that wouldn't be too out of place. And I think that would work really well for this section here too, where they've got like floating gears, the floating gears and cogs you go through, launching yourself around to scale the different stages or the different levels of the stage. Okay. So how do we want to start this room off? I think first thing we'll do is just build a platform right here. And then we'll just do a slope. Don't need to do anything too crazy right away. Oops. Yeah. So we'll go up here. And what I'm thinking is if we put a... let's trim. I'm gonna go boing. And then if we get a gear... If anything, I think something I do want to use a lot more are the gears. They're not really the most interesting from a mechanical perspective. You can do stuff with them. You can't like grapple onto them or anything, so it's not like a ton of crazy stuff you could do with it. But they're a really cool like aesthetic thing, and they're fun to like just jump through. So their cool factor is pretty high at the very least. This is not going to line up at all. No, no, it will not. Is that too narrow? Ooh, okay. Hold on. We might have just like a perfect fit. Ooh, that is slick, dude. That is nice. You can end up landing on it a little bit, and that'll cut your momentum, but you can just barely squeak through. That is good. I like that. I think, similarly to what we've done in some of the other sections of this world, we'll have a slightly increased focus on precision in our platforming. Just because, again, further along in the game, I think we can expect more of the player, expect that they're more capable of pulling off difficult, complicated stuff. Especially when you got this guy to work with. Although I do, generally speaking... Whoops. Got a bad angle on that. Yeah. I do, generally speaking, want to make it so that way you don't have to use this to make things feel smooth. I like it when you just get that like nice natural glide through and you have something to land on. It just has that really nice natural sense of flow. So let's try extending this all the way across. And then, what do I want to do? One idea that I've got is if we rotate this guy back to 0 degrees, probably scale him up a bit. Then put it like right here. Okay, you guys seen the vision? Rotate you 180 degrees. Increase the speed quite a bit. Whoa! Yeah, okay, just kind of spin you around and dunk you. But that's fun, I like that. This probably could also afford to be sped up a little bit, but... Ooh. Okay, wait. Idea? I really hope this works. Oh, okay, we got caught inside of it, so it didn't take us anywhere. Pretty fun. I like that. I like that. And this will be like our top level. And we'll add some extra platforms here and there to connect these sections and make it feel a bit more like one contiguous stage, and that there's a lot of things going on instead of it just being like these random couple of floating doodads here and there. But as a central like structure to a small arena challenge, I think that works pretty well. Yeah. I like that. Whoops. Whoop. Hey. There we are. Keep getting thwacked with the cog. Horizontal gear in the middle, like some sort of pillar with the walls, making cross shape need to move specifically through openings on the walls. That could be cool. If you used a vertical jeb to go through a gear and land on it, like you go up and then land on top, that could also be pretty interesting. It's got a lot of good ideas. Might have to use these in some of the other stages because I want to keep the platforming generally a bit light for the arena stages. The focus is typically more on the combat encounters and platforming, but having brief interludes of platforming in the other stages tends to be a place where they're used to pretty good effect. Okay, probably don't need to do this yet, but my brain likes detailing, so we're gonna go ahead and add this right here. And this is pretty simple, just adding a little, like, I don't know what you'd call it, like trim, I guess. Just kind of helps give a lot of the rooms here a bit more sense of depth. Feels like there's a little bit more going on. Yeah, just adds a little bit of depth. Makes it feel more whole. Sorry about the song, by the way. I mean, I'm not sorry, because I like it, but we got the Lisa music on. We got the weirdo shit in the background. Okay, so we got this set up now. Pretty good, like, just base structure, I would say. We'll have this as like a little spill-off section in case you maybe miss. We could also put some enemies there if we wanted to. And then we can add, I think, another platform in this corner. Like this. You could probably jump that, right? Oh, well, not if it's at an elevation. Okay, yeah, pretty easily. Okay. Yeah, good structure. This is All Hail the Fishman from Lisa. Which I would recommend playing Lisa. It's a very good game. Very cool game. Oh shit, now we got Slugfest from Infinite Wealth. The song goes crazy. You did hear that right, yeah. It's called All Hail the Fishman. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Or rather, I wouldn't think about it too much. If you really want a sample of what that game's music is like, I'd recommend looking up Work Harder, which is a pretty famous or infamous track. Yep. Alright, well, I'm in the middle. Didn't really intend to get here, but that'd be a good, like, memorabilia spot for one of the stages. Ah, shit, I got two stuck in. Maybe we'll scale this guy up just to ensure that doesn't happen. Like, if we make it big, to like guarantee that the player doesn't really get stuck. Yeah. Now we can bonk our head in the ceiling. Okay, but I think this is a pretty successful layout. Yeah, I like it. Okay, start putting some enemies in. And as a heads up, probably not gonna go too much longer. Need to stream for only a little over an hour, but my throat is kind of killing me. It's weather around here has been very, very dry. So my throat is not doing super great. And obviously streaming doesn't doesn't exactly help make it much better. Trade Jimmy here. And then up here is kind of where the main brunt of the enemy forces is gonna go, I think. So we got a Samantha there. Being guarded by a Doble. Got a Dibleon here. Slapmo. Maybe we can put a Steve up here too to make things even just that bit more tricky. Gunther. Let's try the Gunther here. Thank you. Yeah, okay, well, even if you miss, you can kind of just rub against the gear. I think maybe that section's a little out of place now that I think about it. Might just kind of break the flow more than anything else. Oh, I don't have a special meter. Yeah, I do think this guy kind of does break the flow a little bit. I like this section up there, though. It's pretty fun. Get rid of you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up today. My throat is just not feeling great. Might stream next week. Maybe, maybe not. Kind of depends. But yeah. Should be interesting. Next stream, most likely getting working on the final world already, which is pretty exciting. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah. Probably though. Probably. So development is really not too far off from being done. The hope is hope is to get this done pretty soon, and then that'll give me a good couple of months to wrap everything else up. Spend like 2 months polishing and refining stuff, like going back to old levels and fine-tuning stuff and fixing and tweaking. So I'll have a lot of time to make sure everything feels good and is in a good spot before we ship. Probably sometime in late April is the plan. But yeah, thank everybody who decided to drop in today. Thanks for all the support on the newest video. That one did very well. It was quite exciting. And I hope everybody has a